Guys, it finally happened. Plarium finally went in and buffed my first mythical champion, which, you know, I had the misfortune of pulling. I did a video on this guy, and I will say, I think he was a little bit better than people gave him credit for, but they were right when they said this guy was not a mythical champ. To be clear, I am using him right now. He is on my main Fire Knight Hard 10 team. He's also on one of my Hydra B teams or C teams because of his cooldown reset. However, I'm definitely at the point now where he's going to get replaced because, again, that one-turn cooldown reset is not as good as Donnie, who is going to have a 2-turn cooldown reset, granted on a 4-turn cooldown instead of Fjorad's, which is a little bit lower, but we'll talk about this guy today. So, again, buffs to Fjorad. It's going to come down to a couple things. I will say, off paper, I really am a little upset with Plarium because they're trolling, to be blunt. Like, they're trolling. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be bad. Like, these buffs are going to help this champion for sure, but they're doing this. They aren't thinking deep enough, in my opinion, about what a mythical champion could be as somebody who actually uses this guy, right? I use this guy a lot. My Fire Knight team, my Hydra teams, I've used him a lot, so I know what would be good for him and what wouldn't. He was on my Chimera team for a little bit until I got Senna and a couple other champions to replace him, right? And Fjorad as well. But let's break this guy down real quick. Okay, so let's start it out with the A1 here, guys. Right now, we got double hitter, 50% chance of placing a freeze. If they're not under a freeze, we'll repeat the attack once. So against Fire Knight, this is a quad hitter A1 with a 50% chance to freeze. They changed this so that the debuff cannot be blocked or resisted if the champion is from the Gallon Pact. That's the Lizardmen, the Orcs. And this is why this pisses me off. I'm going to be blunt. I'm going to say, Plarium, you guys are the Skinwalkers and the Ogres, okay? This is why this makes me mad. I'm gonna get a little annoyed with good old Plarium here. Real quick, guys, get your free Elenaril by clicking my link in the description right now. You'll also get the amazing champions Vergis, Tagoar, and Deacon Armstrong as you level up at levels 10, 20, and 30 subsequently. And here's all you gotta do. Log out of Plarium Play on your PC and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Then launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Then go to your inbox and claim your first champion. Don't miss out on this opportunity. This is one of the best starter codes that you can get. You'll get all 3 of those epics for free, as well as Elenaril, the legendary champion. So click that link down below before it expires and have yourself a good time. The reason why this makes me mad is because it's in his damn lore, right? And I've got to say, man, this is a mythical champion. Having parts of his kit be conditional because of the lore is embarrassing. It's embarrassing, guys. It's embarrassing, and whoever's doing this needs to go in and fix it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because, look, a lot of people spend good money on this game, and for a mythical champion to be as conditional as a legendary because of your stupid lore that almost nobody cares about is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. So get your crap together, guys. That's sad. It's sad, and you need to be better. And again, we'll see how good the champion actually is, but you're going to see my complaints. Damage based on attack as well. And another big miss here. His alt form is a nuker form, and the damage is based on HP. Why is every single part of his kit not based on HP? It is silly. That's an easy fix. And Drock talked about this too, and he's right. Because the way you're going to have to build this guy for the different pieces of content you want to use him in are completely different. And yeah, you have free gear removal, you have presets, but this is a mythical champion. You shouldn't have to swap your gear around 24/7 to, oh, I'm using him in Fire Knight now, oh, I'm using him in Hydra, oh, I'm using him in Arena. Like, no, like other mythical champions don't have to really deal with that as much, and it's silly. So, okay, the A2 did not get changed at all, and it honestly didn't need to. Good call on their part. Block debuffs and increase speed on all allies. Decrease the cooldown of all ally skills except the champions by 1 turn, not 2 turns like Donnie. This is why Donnie's going to replace him, I think, on my teams. The 2-turn reset, I think, is just going to be better. But, you know, increased speed block debuffs is not bad. Then the A3, this got some big changes here, okay? So traditionally before, this was attacking all enemies, freezing them for 1 turn, decrease speed on all enemies for 2 turns. And from the Gallon Pact, freeze for 2 turns with an extra turn. So this is his setup ability in Arena to set up his nukes. He's all about placing freezes, right? And then doing things to enemies who are frozen. The problem is the freezes are constantly getting deflected by Wands of Submission. And on top of that, guys, block debuffs are in the game. That's resistible. So you sacrifice a ton of damage for him to land his freezes, which he doesn't get amplified damage verse, and people block them and deflect them on cooldown. He was never even getting into his alt form because you were constantly getting frozen by your own freezes, or they were getting blocked and doing nothing to enemy champions. So that was great. What'd they change with this ability, okay? This debuff can now no longer be blocked or resisted. Great. Okay, great. So the setup freeze here cannot be blocked or resisted. That is helpful. Block debuffs don't matter. Any of that doesn't matter, but the wand will probably still deflect back into him, so you're going to have to be careful with wands of submission, okay? Then it grants an extra turn on a 4-turn cooldown. On top of that, they then changed his passive, Best Served Cold. Whenever this champion receives a debuff from an enemy, has a 30% chance of placing a freeze on that enemy for 1 turn. If it's from the Gallon Pack, it increases to 100%. They changed this so whenever this champion or an ally receives a debuff from an enemy, has a 30% chance of freezing them, and this chance increases to 100%, and it cannot be blocked or resisted if the target is from the Gallon Pact. Okay, here is my complaint, guys. So you're essentially going to have to build this guy with accuracy to get value out of his mythical kit. Because again, you could say, in order for him to be good in the end game, right? Especially in Arena, which is the only thing his alternate mythical form, it is the only thing it does. It's only good in Arena. It's not good anywhere else. Arena only, okay? In order to build this guy to get the most out of his mythical kit in Arena, you have to build him with accuracy. You can't put an HP banner on him, which is going to be the difference maker into whether or not he does enough damage, generally speaking, to get value, right? Now, again, we'll see the multipliers on the alt form that they changed, right? Because remember, he mainly does damage to targets under freeze. And if the target is frozen, you deal less damage to that target. And your whole team does less damage to that target. So you're sacrificing damage in numerous places to make his mythical kit viable. I don't know what kind of Zaza we're smoking over there at Plarium, but those multipliers better be through the roof. They better be some of the best multipliers in the game. And maybe they did do that. I'm not going to jump the gun. But either way, I still think all of these conditional things for a mythical champion, just because it's in his lore, are lame. Just make him a legendary and give me my primal shards back. How about that? You know, like that's where I'm going. It's just a big miss, in my opinion. I don't think it's cool. How about this? How about the freezes are all irresistible? Or, like, you know, you can't resist them. You can maybe block them with block debuffs. You know, I think that's some decent counterplay outside of the A3, right, if it's coming from the passive. And how about you do more damage to enemies from the Gallon Pact? How about that? I mean, I don't think that's something that's, you know, hard to miss from people who work with, eat, live, and breathe this game. You know, that's a big miss, especially for a champion that should be cool, that his alt form has no other utility in the game as a mythical. Just terrible. Terrible. No excuse that you're coming in and buffing this guy. You need to get it right, guys. This is something you have to get right. We'll check the multipliers. But we'll swap his forms over now, and we'll go to this A1, which did get some buffs as well. His base speed also got changed from 100 to 105. You know, little buff. We'll take it. Sure. More speed's nice, right? More speed is nice. Rhyme Cleave. On the A1, the only thing they added to this was you ignore 15% of defense, and if they're under a freeze, you ignore 35% of their defense instead. You know, you can't place freezes on this alt form is the problem very easily, and you're going to see the big problem coming up here now, because after that initial freeze goes out, he's not capable of putting more out consistently if you want him built for maximum damage. Again, another really lame miss on Plarium's part. We'll see on the A2. They didn't really change this at all except for the multipliers. This ability is the same. Attacks on enemies, extra hit on enemies under CC debuffs. Each hit decreases the target's max HP by 25% of the damage inflicted up to 50%. Then 25% turn meter decrease, and it can't be resisted if they're under any of those CC debuffs. Damage based on HP, right? All they did was increase the multiplier on this, and to be clear, it was so bad before, it was unusable. It was literally unusable. They missed so bad on the damage mults on this that they could double it, and it still wouldn't be the best thing in the game. That's how bad it was. It was F tier, unusable bad, and I booked them. What a fool I am, right? Spending money on a game, expecting the devs to balance their characters, their mythical champions. This is my first mythical. I was just excited for it, man. I wanted to use my first mythical champ. And then Plarium pulled the rug out from under us. Sad. Sad, 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 sad. Come on, guys. Be better. We need better here. I really hope these mults end up being good because I want to use this guy. He's cool. Do it to yourselves. You spend all the time making this champion, making the models, doing all the work. You know, it's a disservice to yourself if you don't make this guy viable. So we'll see. Hopefully they double the damn multiplier. All right. Then the A3 got some big buffs here as well. It now ignores block damage, which is good. So ignores 50% of defense, 100% if they're under freeze. And then it ignores block damage. So again, this is probably what you want to come in with after you use the A3. Back-to-back A3s. A3 on the primary, on the base form, swap to the alt form, come in with the A3 here, and block revive is what you're aiming to do, okay? On top of the block revive, places a freeze debuff on all enemies for 1 turn if you kill somebody. So you, generally speaking, here's what it's going to come down to, right? You're probably not going to freeze everybody, but you're going to want to freeze the nuker, swap forms, smack the nuker, block revive on the squishier nuker, right? He's probably not going to be great against HP-based champions, and then maybe get some freezes out on everybody else, right? Or maybe the reviver could die. Like, it's really going to depend. It's really going to depend here, guys, on whether or not these multipliers are any good. So the freeze debuff cannot be resisted by enemies from the Gallon pack. Again, why are we tying this to the Gallon pack? And the answer is, it's in the lore. They're letting the lore of the champion dictate if they make him viable in the game or not. And this is where it's all backwards, because guys, Plarium, I hate to break it to you guys, people are not spending money on this game for the lore, okay? They're not buying primal shards to pull this guy for the lore. They're buying it for the effect in the game. And the fact that you are hindering the value that his kit gets because of the lore almost no one cares about is so backwards for a mythical champion. It's stupid. It's stupid. What you should do is you should say this freeze can't be resisted, but it can't be resisted by anybody, but it can't be blocked by the Gallon pack. This is a mythical champion that is only good in Arena. The only place that you use this form is Arena. So it should be great in Arena, but making it conditional in Arena for the buffs to make him viable at all is a miss, a big miss. The only way that I see these effects as being redeemable is if these multipliers that they change, which I haven't seen, are amazing. And guys, if these multipliers aren't amazing, man, Plarium embarrassed themselves. I'm not huge on these buffs. I was hoping they would be more. Again, we'll see the damage multipliers. If they buff the damage multipliers to a good point, I'm wrong, and I admit I'm wrong, and that's fine, right? That's fine. He doesn't have to be the best champion in the game, but either way, I'm still not a fan of all this conditional stuff on a mythical champion. It's just lame, in my opinion. Let me use the kit. Like, I want cool effects on the champion, too, rather than just raw damage at times, but it is what it is. So, you'll have a decision to make. Do you want to build this guy with super high accuracy, or is it better to build him with damage to get, because this is the trade-off, right? If you don't have the HP banner on him to amp his damage in the end game, like, now you have to look for accuracy and being crit capped and all that. Like, I don't think it's viable or feasible to get him to the accuracy that you need to get him to also have him crit capped with decent damage on his multipliers to have these effects land. It's lame. It's lame. It actually makes me angry. It actually makes me angry. And whoever's balancing this, you really should rethink it. It's terrible. Sorry for getting mad. It just irritates me, okay? Then Frosty Resolve counterattacks with Ryan Cleave whenever a champion increases the cooldown of any of this champion's skills. Whenever an ally is killed, has a 50% chance of placing a freeze debuff on all enemies for 1 turn, increases to 100% and can't be resisted or blocked if enemies are from, guess what, the Gallon pack. I mean, that's just lame, man. So the passive doesn't do anything to help his nukes. It's contingent if your team is losing, which means you're already on your heels. I mean, and it only works on the Gallon packs for the build you have to have them built with. I mean, what writer did the game balancing here? I mean, seriously, what I want to know, what writer decided to balance the character? Like, because it's not a game balancer doing it. It's the person who wrote the lore. And you know what? If you want your champion balance to be dictated off your lore, how about you go write a book? You're in the video game industry. You're not in the storytelling industry. And again, like, I think the lore of Teleria is cool, but you don't let it dictate how you balance mythical champions. You don't. You just don't do that. So, I think even if he ends up being good, I still think from a design perspective, this is a big miss. I mean, you look at characters like Empress that are free and really cool, have a lot of fluidity between their kit. That's what you want to see on a mythical champion that makes them fun to use. And it's so lame. I'm going to flame him. Plarium, you guys messed up. Y'all messed up on this. And the more I think about it, even if his multipliers make him viable, like, that's still not fun, That's still not fun. Why are you tying the buffs to a mythical champion to the stupid lore that works on 25% of the cast in the game? And if you look at the champions in the Gallon packs, how many of these champs are actually Arena champions that are good? I mean, you've got Gizmak here. You've got Gizmak. I mean, Stock, I guess, is endgame meta. Klasvag is good now, but he's a void. There's not really any ogres here that are good in Arena. I mean, how about the lizards? I mean, maybe you've got Lazarius. You've got Pythion down here. Maybe some Krisk here and there. You sometimes see Ramantu, Sulfurion maybe. You don't see, you got Wukong, maybe some more chicken. Marius, I guess. I mean, maybe the 2-turn freeze on Marius is good, but he's not debuffing you either. You know, it's just, how many of these champs are actually using? None of the orcs. I mean, none of the orcs are. Warlord, maybe, but, you know, it's just, why? Why? This is a mythical champion that you're going back and buffing, and you keep the lame conditions on the champion? I've waited 8 months for a buff to this champ, and they just still are having the writers balance the game, and it's just embarrassing. It's just embarrassing, man. It makes me mad. Stupid, and I'm gonna call it out for being stupid. Look, I love this game, guys. I love this game, but this is one of those moments where you look at Plarium and you're like, what game journalist do you have balancing your game? Seriously, it's embarrassing. So again, we'll try out the buffs. I think even if they're viable, I still think it's a big miss because, so like again, for Fire Knight, for example, where I'm using him right now, right? Look at his build to explain. I've got the res banner on him right now. I do need to get some accuracy. This is just kind of all I have. Like if I want him to be good in arena, right? I need to get him to get value out of those extra freezes. I need to put an accuracy banner on him here, and I need to pull his accuracy up to like 650, 700 in high gold 4 live arena. And if I'm an endgame player, I might even need to get my accuracy up to like 800, 900 for those freezes to land consistently on the entire team, right? This is a mythical champ. Siegfried could just nuke the whole squad if he gets that turn, right? But I'm sacrificing a bunch of damage. I'm probably sacrificing, like, you know, if I have an HP banner here, do I have a dwarf HP banner right now? Let's see. Primary stats, HP. Let's see. I mean, I've got one on my Frolny, maybe. I mean, I probably don't even have a good one right now with HP on HP. Unfortunately, I don't. Maybe one of these days I'll actually get a good HP banner. I'm going to go headhunt one down now. But, you know, I'm sacrificing 10, 20% of my damage on a nuker to get the effects on my kit, on a mythical champ. Because my irresistible condition is only on, like, maybe 10 viable champions in endgame arena when this form's only use is in the arena. You know, it's stupid. It's stupid. And for Fire Knight, again, I've got him fast and him relentless. I don't have him crit capped. But now I'm going to sacrifice a bunch of speed and stats to get him crit capped, get his crit damage up. And now I have to find accuracy too to get value out of half of my kit? Miss. Do better, Plarium. Shameful. Anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on the Fjorad buffs. We'll check out the multipliers. Hopefully the multipliers. The only way this rework is good is if the multipliers are God tier. That's the only way. If they made the multipliers God tier, sure. If not, terrible. F tier, embarrassing. Why even do the patch at all? All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later. Take care. Much love. Peace out.